Hello and welcome to this week's Yarn Chat. My name is Nicole and I'm the brains and the beauty behind Handcrafted by Nicole. And first of all, I just want to say thank you for everyone who reached out when I made a post yesterday that baby girl is just sapping all of my energy. I had nothing left to give for the podcast yesterday. So I appreciate that y'all are patient for this podcast. It's coming out a day later than normal. That's okay. We're just going to roll with it. The weather here today is very, very rainy. In fact, we've had several flash flood warnings already here in New York. So the light is probably going to be a little bit brighter than normal, but this is as bright as I can get it in my room. Just a little bit less natural light than normal today. So I've got two things that I want to talk about with featured makes. The first one is this. This is my Certainly Cypress. Actually, she's called Cypress. The Cypress cardigan from Hailey Handcrafted. This is out today, which is why I wanted to wear it. She had a tea version that is called Certainly Cypress Tea, which is why I was confused. But yes, it's just called the Cypress cardigan. Let me show you all of the cute texture on this. I used Patagonia from Juniper Moon Farms. I have a Ravelry project page up if you want to check that out. Yeah, and I love it. It's really good for a day like today when it's just gross and we're going to be staying inside the rest of today and just snuggling up because this is just a great throw over everything kind of a piece. The other tester versions are awesome. You should check out the Cypress cardigan hashtag because I made mine with 100%, I think it's just organic wool. I don't think it's a merino per se. I'll have to go back and double check. But there were a couple that did a cotton blend version or some that did a hand dyed superwash merino, and they're all just gorgeous. As well as a lot of difference in the lengths of the cardigans. I wanted something that hit me right at the hip. You can kind of see that's about where it hits me there, because I knew that that would be something I could wear a lot throughout the year and that I wanted a full sleeve. I had somebody reach out to me on Instagram and ask if these were a bell sleeve. These sleeves are made, try not to bunch my mannequin, just straight down from the armhole. I like that style of sleeve because I like a little bit of extra room. But if you wanted a fitter sleeve or more fitted sleeve, you could do some decreases on the sleeve. And then there was one tester who made a cuff on the edge of hers so that it, like, she did a lot of decreases and did a cuff. So lots of ways to customize your cardigan. And that's one of the reasons that I really love Hailey Handcrafted is that the recipe style, you can make sure that you get the right fit. I know for me, depending on the cardigan itself, most of the time I wear an extra large. Sometimes it can go into a 2X based on my bust, and having the ability to customize it specifically to my measurements makes things a lot easier. So yes, big fan of this. Love it. Perfect for a day like today. The other thing I wanted to highlight is this gorgeous shawl, and I will take it off the mannequin here in a second. But this is the Ringing Rocks shawl by Violet Loops, and she's doing a collaboration with Montana Crochet, who dyed the yarn for this. And it's gorgeous. It's huge. I think I showed it to you last week when I was, gosh, was I only halfway done? A little over halfway done? I don't know. I plowed through it because I needed to have it finished by today. But also, whenever you do a side-to-side shawl, or at least in my experience, when you do a side-to-side shawl where you're increasing to a midpoint and then decreasing the rest of the way, the second half just goes a lot quicker because you've done the hard part. You've gotten over the halfway point. So yes, I really like it. It's a Tunisian crochet pattern. I would say beginner friendly, adventurous beginner friendly. It does have this overall texture, but it's one type of stitch. So for most of it, and it's got this really pretty edging, but nothing is complicated about it. So if you're not sure, if you haven't tried Tunisian before and you're willing to watch a couple of videos, I highly recommend this. It's gorgeous. There will be a 2-color version as well as a 3-color version from Montana Crochet. So let me show you the shawl. Before I do that, this comes out, the pattern and the yarn and the kits come out on Sunday, October 1st. That is when all of that will be out. So let me give you a better look at this shawl. So mine was a 3-color version. It's so pretty. So I have barley as my lightest color. Hold it up so you can kind of see the texture and that. And then, no, antler was my lightest color. Then it fades into barley. And then it fades into my favorite color of the shawl, which is cider. And it's huge. It is very large. I wore it, how did I wear it for pictures? I do have pictures on Instagram that I took this week. We've had a lot of bad weather, and I finally got some good pictures on one of the nicer days this week. But there's a lot of ways to wear it because it is so large. You could also wear it just over your shoulders. That's super cozy. I think I had it styled kind of like this when I was wearing it. And it would look gorgeous with a shawl pin just right there in the corner. But I'll leave it like this so you can kind of see the texture and the fade. But that is the Ringing Rock shawl from Violet Loops using Montana Crochet yarn. And I will also tell you, in the tester chat, a little behind the scenes, a lot of us, when we were first taking pictures of our work in progress as we were going through, we're actually taking pictures of the wrong side of the shawl. Of course, I'll just take it right back off because the wrong side is also stunning. Like, it's just very pretty and I like it a lot. So that is the Ringing Rocks shawl. And this, both of these were pattern tests. Both the cardigan I have on now that's out today and this shawl were both pattern tests. These will be the last 2 I'll do this year. I've got too many other projects to get done, but I'm really glad that I got to be in both of these tester groups because they were both great and very kind and helpful. So yeah, those are 2 featured makes because they both come out very close to each other. All right, finished objects. I have one. I think I just have the one. Yeah, I just have one, but it's a big one. So you may recall that I had started the Hattie Tee by Holly Woodward Designs by making a bunch of granny squares kind of at the end of the summer. And they were all scraps left over from various projects. All hand-dyed yarn, all DK merino wool. And then I bought a coordinating color from made by Hailey Bailey, which I had not tried before. And I was waiting until after the craft fair to finish this tee. And maybe because I have been working on so many fingering weight projects, like this was a fingering weight project, the cowl that I showed last week with the little granny squares was a fingering weight project, the blanket squares I'm going to show you in a second are a fingering weight project, that once I picked up the squares to do the Hattie Tee in a DK weight, it flew. So it's done except for being blocked. So this is the Hattie Tee that I made and I love it. I love it so much. It just screams fall. And I'm really glad that I was able to finish it because my goal is to wear it next weekend for the Kings County Fiber Festival. I decided not to go to Rhinebeck this year for lots of reasons, but mainly just because of timing and planning and being very pregnant. So I'm going to go to the Kings County Fiber Festival, which is a lot closer. My husband's going to drive, and we'll just do that. So I wanted something handmade special to wear to that, and this is what I'm going to wear now that it's done. So I did make several changes to this. But before I get into the changes, I guess I'll tell you one of the things that I really liked about this that I had not done before was this continuous join as you go method for the granny squares. The cowl that I did that I showed you last time, that was like the little mini granny squares, the little close ones, was the first time I had ever tried a join as you go method. I have always seamed squares. I liked the way they looked, and I hadn't had a reason to try a different way. And then I knew that I was going to have to do a join as you go method on this, and I love it. The video that she links in this, in the pattern, is fantastic, and it was just fast and fun, and I now want to make a join as you go blanket with this. So I liked that a lot. A couple of the changes that I've made now that I've said that. One, I took out a complete row of granny squares because I ran out of the scraps I had, and because I knew that my granny squares were going to grow because they were made of wool. The original pattern, I think, is either worked up in an acrylic or a cotton, and I knew that this would grow, and so I didn't do the last row. So the original pattern has 4 rows for my size. The other change that I made is I did half double crochet at the top of the panels instead of double crochet for structure, so that it wouldn't be super gappy at the top, and because I just like the way half double crochet looks. It's just personal preference, really. I love double crochet, but like if you're working something where you're not working it in the round, sometimes I just don't like the striations that you get with double crochet. Personal preference. I also changed the neckline. The pattern calls for a boat neck, so it's basically like you do 2 panels the same, and then you kind of seam them up into a neckline. And I knew that that would drive me crazy to have something that close to my neck. Honestly, I am surprised that I have gotten through all of today with this little mock neck without it bothering me, but a lot of times if something is just sitting on my neck, I can't wear it all day. So I did a couple of short rows on the sides to have more of a neck hole. And then the pattern, I did an extra row of finishing with a reverse single crochet because y'all know it's my favorite. So yeah, I made several changes, but I really like it. It's a great pattern, very well written, clear pictures. I'm all about it. Hattie Tee from Holly Woodward Designs. And if you like a granny square or a granny stripe motif, you should check out Holly Woodward because she's got a lot of fun patterns. She's got some cardigans, pullovers, like long sleeve, lots of great granny square patterns. So I like this. I will say, again, because mine is a little bit, I mean, it's not that different gauge wise right now, but I generally wear an extra large. I probably could have made the large and had a little less positive ease, but I am pregnant and I did want to make sure that it fit and that I could still wear it afterwards. And yeah, so if you're in between sizes on this pattern, maybe size down. It just depends on what kind of a fit you like. But you'll see when you do the panel, because you do like the width of the panel first, you could kind of hold it up to yourself and see like, oh, this is going to be too small or too big, and then just add an extra row if you have enough granny squares to do that with. So yeah, really like it. Very excited. I actually ran out of wool wash and got some in yesterday. So I will block it today. That'll be a good project for me on a rainy day to block a sweater. That is these two. So the Hattie Tee and the shawl are the two things that I have finished this week, which both felt really good. I've got a couple of other works in progress, one of which is this baby blanket. I don't even think I had this started last week, and it has just gone very fast. Part of that, it's worsted weight, linen stitch, pretty mindless. I am making matching baby blankets for me and my best friend's kid, who are due 2 weeks apart. So this will probably look very familiar because it's the same colors. Hers has a green border, mine will have a blue border, and it's working out pretty well. I think I'm a little over halfway at this point. I worked on it a lot this morning, and it's coming together really well. Tricolor linen stitch. TL Yarn Crafts has a really good video for how to do it. I have a video on how to make it in a shawl, and it's very nice because you don't have to weave in ends, because since you're using 3 colors, you're always picking up whatever color is next at the end of the row. I like it quite a lot. So happy about that. My baby shower that my mom is throwing for me in Georgia 2 weeks from now is kind of the impetus for making sure that that gets done, because, excuse me, that is when I will give my best friend hers, because she will be at the shower, and I wanted to make sure that I had enough time to finish them both, wash them both in baby detergent, take pictures of them before giving her hers. So yes, very happy about that. That'll probably get finished pretty quickly. And again, I'm looking out the window and seeing all of the wind and the rain today. It could, like a lot of that could get done today with just the amount of cozy crocheting that is going to happen today. The next work in progress are the next few letters for the alphabet blanket. So I hadn't worked on this in a while. It's a fun pattern. It's from Sass and Stitch. It's just fingering weight yarn, and I had been doing a lot of crocheting with fingering weight yarn, and I was just wearing out my hands. So I took a break from it for a while I was finishing up some pattern tests, and then I picked it back up this week because I need it to be done before baby girl gets here. And her nursery is coming together really well. We actually got the rocking chair in this week, which is very exciting. Scoot is convinced it is for him, especially since it's near a window. He was like, oh, this is for me to hang out in. And I think that the alphabet blanket is going to look gorgeous over the back of it, because it's a gray rocking chair, kind of like a recliner, comfy wingback style. So anyway, it's been a good incentive to work on more squares. So I did the letter L. None of these have been blocked, so they're super curly. I've got 2 more that I'll do in this color before I block all of them. There's one that's blank. That's not this one though. The E. And then one that is just blank somewhere down in here. Did I already take it out? Nope, it's right there. One that's just blank. The alphabet blanket has 26 letters, as you would expect, and then 4 blank squares for the corners, so 30 squares total. Yes, so this yarn, another reason why I wanted to work on it, and I'll show it to you in the cake, is from Bella Filato Studios. It was part of her Michigan, what is it called? But they're Michigan themed yarns. It might be called the Great Lakes collection, but they're all Michigan themed yarns. This is the color M22. I bought this last year, and I love it. This is the first time I've used it, and I'm glad I'm gonna have leftovers because it's a really pretty color. And the yarn just feels really nice. She's doing the Great Lakes collection again this year, and you should check it out if you like Michigan yarn, or if you just like gorgeous colors. She's got some really pretty neutrals in there too, and just some very like soft blues and pinks that I don't think were in the collection last year. So I might buy from her again. But Bella Filato Studios, she's great. And that was from her yarn last year. Yeah, so I've got 2 more letters. I started with the blank one because I needed something easy. And then I think I did the L. No, maybe I did the E and then the L. I've got to do a U and an N next. I haven't psyched myself up to do those yet. But yeah, once I finish these 5, I think I will have 10 or 11 left. So home stretch. And then it'll be fun to just seam it and do a border. And I've got time. Okay, other work in progress. I really should have one more, and that'll kind of lead into yarn love. So I am a little bit bonkers and decided that I should make matching sweaters for, or not even matching, but coordinating sweaters for my husband, me, and baby girl before she gets here. She's due early December. Figured this would be great to wear around Christmas. And I've never made my husband a sweater. And of course, I'm starting this by making him a sweater without a pattern, but by using measurements from a sweater that he has that he likes. So that being said, I did the back panel of his sweater. I wanted to start with his sweater because I know how I'm gonna do mine. I know how to make myself sweaters. Her sweater is going to be very small, and I don't think it will be complicated, but his, I want to make sure that it fits well enough that he's not just wearing it to appease me, but that he actually likes it. So I did the back panel of it. It's all Tunisian simple stitch. And then I'm doing a little bit of upper arm shaping. I think you can kind of see it right there. For the armhole, a lot of times when I make myself sweaters, I do a drop shoulder. That's what this is, where the seam for the arm starts a lot lower. It's probably what I will do for mine. I'm making myself a cardigan, and but for his, I want to make sure that it fits him well. And he doesn't generally wear a lot of oversized or, I don't know, like kind of trendy cuts. Per se, like if it's a sweater, he wants it to look like a sweater. So anyway, I'm confident that I can make the body fit. I'm curious to see what I do for the top of the sleeve, since I haven't made one quite like this before. I think I can figure it out though. We will see. I'm using for this one of the yarns that I really like. It's a good workhorse yarn. It's from Berroco. It's called Vintage. I think the name of this one is like Gray Heather. He wanted a light gray sweater. It's a blend of acrylic, wool, and nylon. So 52% acrylic, 40% wool, 8% nylon. I love the way that it feels. I love the way that it washes. I've used this before for sweaters, throwing them in the washer and the dryer, and they've been great. So I like this a lot, and I bought it from Spun. Spun is wonderful in Ann Arbor. They ship if you don't live in Ann Arbor. And so his sweater will be all gray. That is what he wanted, a light gray sweater. I think I'm going to do at the top of the sleeve like a fun little special stitch, probably like this, a lattice stitch in Tunisian crochet, just to give it a little zhuzh. It'll have a v-neck in the front, ribbing on the cuffs, around the hem and around the bottom, relatively simple. Like I said, the hardest part for his is going to be the sleeves, I think. But I'm up for the challenge. Front panel is done. And then for mine, since he wanted gray, I was trying to think of what color I would want for a cozy sweater. And so I bought myself this really pretty, rich red, kind of a pinky red. The name of this one is Cardinal. I'm gonna hold it up with the gray. So his is gonna be gray, mine is gonna be this color, and then baby girl's I'm gonna do as like a two-tone color. So hers will be a mix of both of ours. Very excited about this, as long as I can figure out those sleeves. But he's excited, I think. I asked him what he thought because I finished the back panel last night. We've been watching Harry Potter as kind of a countdown to Halloween, trying to get into spooky season. And I asked him what he thought. He's like, I mean, I like the color and I like the stitches. I'm like, yeah, I know. You can't really tell what this will look like yet, but I can see the vision. I actually held it up to his back while he was snacking on something at one point to make sure that all my measurements were right. Because when I told him I had started it, he was like, what measurements did you use? Because I've been at work all day. I'm like, well, I used a sweater that you already had, like I've done for myself. So he's excited. I think he will like it once he can see the vision come together. I'm not nervous. And that's it. Yeah, that's it. I have been working on a couple of other things, but I can't show them to you yet because they are for things that haven't been released yet. Because it is such a rainy and gloomy day today, I might start my Happy Place cardigan now that I don't have another garment for myself per se. It's probably what I will do. And just enjoy being all snuggled and cozy. And really, that's what I can't let go of right now, is just, one, how crazy the weather has been. So much rain, so many storms. Scoot is not a fan. I'm convinced that Scoot is solar powered. And he just has very little energy on these kind of gloomy days. And also, it's just no fun for him to be outside on days like this. But I am very grateful that with all this crazy weather, like tonight, we don't have to go anywhere. He had an appointment this morning and had to face the crazy weather this morning, but I am in comfy socks and comfy clothes, and I think I'm going to spend the rest of my day working on a couple of projects, and that's going to be really great. So I hope that your weather is prettier than what we've got right here in New York this weekend. And like I said, I appreciate y'all being patient with yesterday. It's just not being a good day to podcast. And with that, I will see you next time. Bye, guys.